The Arctic. For centuries, it was a frozen fortress of White Walkers, unreachable, unclaimed, unforgiving. Today, it is thawing. Beneath the ice lie shipping routes that could reshape global trade and resources worth trillions. Russia, China, and the United States are moving fast, turning the world's quietest frontier into its newest geopolitical battleground. What's melting here isn't just ice, it's the balance of power. The Arctic has never been empty. For centuries, explorers, traders, and nations saw it as a shortcut, a prize, and a stage for power. In the 16th century, British and Dutch sailors braved the icy unknown in search of the Northwest Passage, a direct route from Europe to Asia. Figures like Martin Frobisher in 1576 risked starvation and deadly cold for faster trade and unimaginable wealth. Many never returned. By the 18th century, Russia under Peter the Great pushed eastward, building ports like Arkhangelsk in 1703 to secure fur and timber. Norway and Denmark clashed over whaling grounds well into the 19th century. In the early 20th century, flags became political tools. Norway claimed Svalbard in 1925, securing control over surrounding resources. These territorial ambitions laid the groundwork for today's disputes. The pattern was clear then, as it is now. In the Arctic, ownership means power. The Arctic became strategically vital during World War II. From 1941, Allied convoys braved submarine attacks to supply the Soviet Union through Arctic waters. By the war's end, 85 Allied ships had been lost. During the Cold War, the Arctic was no longer a remote expanse. It was a front line. The shortest route for nuclear bombers between the US and the Soviet Union was over the North Pole. In 1954, Washington and Ottawa built the Distant Early Warning Line, a 3,000-mile radar shield stretching from Alaska to Greenland, a project costing $1.2 billion by 1957. Beneath the ice, Soviet submarines like the K-19 prowled unseen, while US subs like the USS Nautilus chased them. The Soviet Union showcased might with nuclear icebreakers like the Lenin in 1959. By the 1980s, the Arctic was a silent chessboard, armed and dangerous. Tensions eased after the Soviet collapse in 1991. But the geography didn't change. The lessons of the Cold War remain. In the Arctic, proximity equals power. Climate change has transformed the Arctic from a distant theater into a live stage. Summer sea ice has shrunk by 40% since the 80s, with NASA data showing a 13% decline per decade since the 90s. In July 2025, temperatures were 2.5 degrees Celsius above average. The Northern Sea route along Russia's coast is now navigable for 5 months a year. In 2024, it carried 34 million tons of cargo, cutting Europe-Asia voyages by 40% compared to the Suez Canal. A transpolar route, straight across the pole, could be viable by 2035. Russia holds the advantage with 36 icebreakers, including 5 nuclear-powered units launched since 2020. China, branding its ambitions as the Polar Silk Road, has invested $3.5 billion into Arctic ports by August 2025. The US, with only 2 aging icebreakers, has committed $1.9 billion to build 3 new ones, but construction only began this year. The message is clear. As the ice recedes, the barriers to entry vanish, and so do the excuses for not competing. Beneath the Arctic lies one of the largest caches of untapped resources on Earth. The U.S. Geological Survey estimates 90 billion barrels of oil and 1,670 trillion cubic feet of natural gas, plus rare earth minerals valued at $1.5 trillion. Much of this is in disputed territory. 2007, Russia sent a submersible to plant its flag on the seabed at the North Pole, a symbolic claim to 1.2 million square miles, formally submitted to the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, in 2015. Canada lodged its own claim in 2019, Denmark in 2021, Norway adjusted boundaries in 2023. The US, though not a signatory to UNCLOS, maintains a military presence in the Beaufort Sea and held large-scale exercises there in July 2025. Oil permits in the Arctic have jumped 25% in 2025 alone. Analysts call it a gold rush on ice, and history tells us rushes tend to end in confrontation. The Arctic's strategic map is being redrawn, not by cartographers, but by generals. Since 2014, Russia has reopened 14 Soviet-era bases, added 6 new airfields by 2023, and stationed 10,000 troops equipped with S-400 missile systems. The U.S. has expanded Arctic training, deploying 2,500 Marines for cold weather operations in 2025. NATO's Trident Juncture exercise in 2024 brought 50,000 troops to the high north. China, though without Arctic coastline, operates 3 research stations since 2018 and plans a $600 million deep-water port in Iceland by 2027. Its icebreakers double as research vessels and intelligence platforms. In August 2025, Russia conducted naval drills near Alaska. Canada has increased sovereignty patrols in the Northwest Passage. Norway has launched a new Arctic strategy, high north, low tension. But its buildup suggests the tension is anything but low. Scenario 1. Cooperation. The Arctic Council, founded in 1996, has been the main forum for dialogue. It could manage resource sharing and environmental protection, but Russia suspended participation in 2022. By June 2025, talks were stalled. Norway chairs until the end of 2025, after which Denmark and Greenland take over. Whether they can revive cooperation is uncertain. Scenario 2. Cold War 2.0. By 2030, Russia and China could dominate Arctic shipping lanes. US and NATO efforts may lag without sustained investment. RAND's 2025 report warns that delays now could cede long-term strategic control. Scenario 3. Open conflict. A dispute over a shipping lane, an oil platform, or a territorial boundary could escalate. NATO's 2024 study projects a flashpoint could emerge as early as 2035. August 2025 drills near Alaska, paired with Chinese port investments, are already seen as moves on the board. The Arctic may feel far away, but its fate will touch your life. New shipping lanes could cut global trade costs by 15% by 2040. That could make goods cheaper, or if tensions flare, far more expensive. Oil and gas extraction could affect global energy prices overnight, but there's a cost. Greenpeace warns Arctic drilling could destroy 15% of its ecosystem by 2040. In 2025, winter ice levels were 1.4 million square kilometers below average, a record low that accelerates both opportunity and risk. Every degree of warming opens more water, more trade, more drilling, and more chances for confrontation. The Arctic is no longer a frozen void. It is a living, shifting arena where climate, commerce, and conflict collide. Russia and China are already entrenched. The US is scrambling to catch up. Allies are weighing cooperation against confrontation. History says great powers rarely share new frontiers peacefully. The question is no longer whether the Arctic will be contested, but how far nations will go to win it. Who will control the top of the world? The answer will shape the century ahead. Tell me, who wins? Like, subscribe, and join us at the Arctic Battleground. This is Chrono-Political. See you next time.